All right, we're going to talk about a number line. We're not actually going to do any graphing today, but we're going to talk about a number line because that's what we're going to be working with is inequalities. I'm going to talk about relationships on a number line, okay? You have 4 different symbols, and if I read these symbols from left to right, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, those are the symbols. We can use those symbols to classify statements and graph on a number line. When we graph, okay, I'm not going to draw a bunch of numbers on our number line, just a few of them, so I'm not real picky about this part of it, but, oops, that line is in the dotted line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so x greater than 2 means that I'm going to count to 2 from the 0, 1, 2, and I'm going to put a circle. And then I'm going to decide whether that circle stays open or whether I close in that circle. And because I have a greater than, not a greater than or equal to, I leave the circle open. And my line and arrow would be going to the right. So greater than 2 would be 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. I'll come back and wrap it up here.
So just to clarify, the open end of the symbol is the smaller one?
The open end of the symbol is a small one. I'm not sure what you mean.
Like the triangle, like the greater or less than sign. The open end dedicates the small side.
Correct.
Okay.
No, depends which way it goes. Depends which way your line goes. In this particular case, yes. Okay, so like on this next one, x is less than or equal to -3. I go to where -3 is on my graph, so to the left. I draw my circle. I color it in this time because it's less than or equal to -3, and my line and arrow goes to the left. Let me finish all 4 and then I'll do some clarification points, I think. Why does it keep going back to that?
So why is it closed now?
I'll tell you, let me come back to it.
Alright.
Let me finish.
Alright.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, greater than or equal to 0 means I'm gonna start on 0. I'm gonna close that circle in. And my line and arrow is going to go to the right. And then on my last one, oh my gosh, why does it keep doing that? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. X is less than 5 is going to be an open circle. On 5, line and arrow to the left. Okay, so we had some good questions as I was doing those. When do you determine when the circle is open or closed? Anybody know? Anybody know what the answer is? Yes.
Would it be because there's a line underneath the symbol?
Because there's a line under the symbol. So this symbol is less than or equal to -3, which means -3 is included. Less than or equal to. And if it says greater than or equal to 0, then that means 0 is included. So when you have the little line under it, when you have the greater than, equal to, less than, equal to, that's a solid closed-in circle. If you just have your greater than and less than, that means that this is the starting point, but 2 is not included. Greater than 2, like 2.000001 counts, but not 2 itself, okay? So, to kind of put that into our notes here, if I have greater than, why does it keep doing that? I used that last class and now it won't go away. So when I do greater than or less than, those are going to be open circles. And if I do greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, those are gonna be closed circles.
So if there's a line underneath.
So if there's a line under it, you close it in. Now, what you might also notice is that sometimes our line goes left and sometimes our line goes right. And you can use this fact, but it's really important to know when you can use it, okay? So here, my arrow points to the right, and so does my line. Here, my arrow points to the left, so does my line. Points to the right, so does my line. Points to the left, so does my line, okay? You have to be able to read the symbol. So less, when it points to the left, is my less than. Points to the right is my greater than. If you have the X on the left side here, like all of my examples, this is why I like X on the left. If my X is on the left, then this is gonna happen. It's gonna go the same direction as your symbol points. So if it points to the right, your line goes to the right. If it points to the left, your line goes to the left. If X is on the left side, that's the only time that's gonna happen, okay? If X is on the right, that's the opposite then. Okay, so that's something to note. So when I am solving an inequality and I say X is greater than 2, that means that any number greater than 2 works. 3, 5, 7, 9, 126. Less than 5, -1, -10, 0, 2. Okay, so we're showing all the solutions, because when you're working with an inequality, you can't actually list all the solutions because there's an infinite number, okay? Okay, question on that part about a graph. We'll come back to graphing. We're not actually gonna graph today, but. Okay, solving equations is just like solving inequalities, is just like solving equations with one exception. If you multiply by or divide by a negative number, you have to switch the direction of the inequality symbol. Now notice that I have this part underlined. I have it bolded because that's the one you're gonna do it. When you divide by a negative. It is when you multiply, but that hardly ever happens. So we're focusing on this part where it says, when I divide by a negative. Now, you have to remember all the things we've been using in solving. So I pretty much just cut and paste this back from something we did in September. Okay, these were in your notes in September. Solving equations, you're gonna get rid of the fractions. You're gonna get rid of grouping symbols. You're gonna collect like terms. You're gonna move the constant to the right side. You're gonna get X to the left side. And then when you divide, that last step, switch the symbol if you divide by a negative number. So that's my additional rule. All the other rules for solving, we should know, okay? All right, so here we go. If it is helpful to you, as we did back when we did equals, oh my gosh, why does it keep doing that? I gotta figure out how to fix that. If it's helpful for you to draw that line for the left and the right side of the symbol, then do that. I'm not gonna go through the symbol because I wanna be able to see it. Okay, so if I'm getting X alone, I'm gonna have to add 9, X is greater than 21. That's my answer.
And we don't have to graph that.
We're not gonna graph yet today.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just
So
solve
why
it.
don't we just use like the equal sign?
Because we're working with inequalities
So
now.
otherwise it'll just be.
So we're working with things that are gonna have more than one answer to them.
Alright.
Okay.
What's the deal with the squiggly line under the X? What is that?
I was just saying we were getting X by itself,
Oh,
that's
okay.
all. Okay, next example. There's no fractions or parentheses. I do have 2 terms that have X's, so I'm gonna combine those together. Oh my gosh, why, tell me, somebody, why does it keep doing that? So I'm gonna combine those together. 2 plus 7 please use a calculator if you are unsure of your adding and subtracting abilities. They're on the same side, just as you read it is how you type it into a calculator. Divide by 9, and x is greater than or equal to 4. So nothing too out of the ordinary yet from what we've been doing all year. On this next one, I have fractions. If you have fractions, get rid of the fractions. My common denominator would be 3. So I'm going to take every term times the common denominator of 3.
So would the 3, cancel out?
So they're going to cancel. That's why you do it. And I'm left with just the x. And then 2 times 3 is 6. And negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. And then I solve. To get that x by itself, I'm going to minus 6. X is less than or equal to negative 21. If you're using your calculator, you're going to input that as either negative 15 minus 6 or negative 15 plus a negative 6. Both will give you negative 21, which is the correct number. Again, if you are not 100% sure in your head, then use your calculator. All right, the next one has a common denominator of 5, because it's the only denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. On the left, the 5's cancel. That's why oh my gosh, this is going to aggravate me until I figure out how to fix that. My 5's cancel, and I have negative 2x is greater than 40.
Are you double clicking your Apple Pen?
No. I just used it today. Like, we'll use this later on, where I needed a dotted line. And then I divide by negative 2. Ding, 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 ding. Listen to what I said. I divided by negative 2. When I divide by a negative number, I have to switch the direction of the inequality symbol. So this is going to change to a less than. And then 40 over negative 2 is negative 20.
So the symbol's pretty much just taking the place of the equal sign.
Yeah, so that symbol just is there instead of equals, and this is the only thing you do different than if it were an equals, is that you have to switch it if you divide by a negative. All the other rules of solving are the same as we've been doing.
So if it's like the one, I don't know what it's called. If it's the one where you shade in the 0,
Yeah.
would we still change the symbol?
Yep,
Okay.
Wait, so why are we changing the symbol?
because we
divide.
divided by a negative.
Alright.
So it's only when you divide by a negative?
It's in that, it'll always be that last step when you divide by a negative.
Will there ever be any time we divide by a positive?
Oh, yeah, and then you don't change it.
You don't change it?
That was okay.
Okay, next one here. No. I don't have to change this every time. Okay, I'm getting x alone, so I'm gonna plus the 17 first. So negative 2x comes down. It's gone. Is less than 42. Divide by negative 2, ding, 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 I'm dividing by a negative. So I'm going to, first I'm going to move this, so we can see it better. Oh my gosh. Somebody tell me what I'm doing right. Less than. So I'm going to have x is greater than negative 21. So again, I divided by a negative, so I switched the direction of that symbol. Okay, let's start getting some input from the audience here. What is my first step? on this question?
Combine x's.
Combine your x's, good. Put these x's together. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 2x, sorry.
Subtract 2.
Next step, subtract 2. So 2x cancels. 14 minus 2 is 12. And third step,
Divide by 2.
divide by 2. So x is less than or equal to 6. Solving is like the biggest thing you can do because you use solving for lots of things. All right, first step on this question, gonna be what?
Multiplication.
Multiplication, get rid of those parentheses, very good. So 4 times x, 4 times negative 5.
Maybe 21. Plus 20.
Next step, plus 20. So 4x comes down,
36.
that's 0,
9.
36. Divide by 4.
Isn't it 9?
It is not. X is greater than 9. So you can't just give me 9 as an answer, like when we had equals, you're gonna have to give me the whole thing, because the symbol is gonna have to be part of that.
And how do we know the symbol? If it's up there, unless we have to change it?
Yes.
Oh, it just comes down.
Alright.
Just stays the same. Okay, similar to the last question. Actually, just like the last question. Multiply first. So negative 2 times 2 and negative 2 times 5. So those both come out. I don't know why I wrote that. I don't know. Greater than or equal to 18. Next step, add 10. So negative 4x, those are 0, greater than or equal to 28. Divide by negative 4. Ding, 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 ding. I'm dividing by a negative. So I'm going to switch the direction of that symbol to less than or equal to. It's always going to be in that last step that it could possibly happen. I don't know if we need to do all of these questions, but I'm gonna jump around on here now. Okay, so we've seen questions with parentheses, and you guys knew right away to get rid of them. So let's do that first. Negative 3 times x, negative 3 times 2. Okay, next step would be what?
Combine x's.
Combine x's. So negative 3, positive 4, positive 1x. Minus 6 comes down. Greater than negative 15. Next step,
Switch the negative 6 into a positive 6.
plus the 6. So 1x is greater than negative 9. And 1x is what I'm looking for, so I'm done. Let's go to the fraction one. What's my common denominator? Always start with 6. If the other numbers, always start with the biggest number, I should say. If the other numbers divide in, that's your common denominator. So 6 is correct. And I want you to get me that first line. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to try that. See if you get this right.
So is it 3 divided by 6 or 3 times 6?
Other way around, 6 divided by 3.
Oh.
but I'll show you two ways you can do it. Because I know somebody used the one way, I can't remember when we did this way back in September. Allergy season started. I'm feeling it already. All right, so one way, the way we've been doing is this. 3 cancels, divides into 6 2 times, and then I'm left with 2 times 2x, or 4x. And then 2 cancels, divides into 6 3 times, and I have left 1 times 3. Greater than 6 cancels with 6 completely, leaving me 7. Okay, so that's one way. I'm going to show you another way though. Because some people like this way better. And it works. I just don't like it because it doesn't work with rational expressions. That's the only reason I don't like it. Okay, so some people like this. 2 times 6 is 12. Divided by 3 is 4. 1 times 6 is 6. Divided by 2 is 3. And 7 times 6 is 42. Divided by 6 is 7. So I personally like to do it where you scratch it out, but either way works, okay? Okay, we continue solving. So I'm gonna minus the 3. So I'm gonna have 4x is greater than 4. And then I'm gonna divide by 4. And x is greater than 1. Those are probably gonna be our most challenging questions, are the ones that involve fractions. And that's pretty typical across the board, no matter what level of math you're in. The ones with fractions are always hard. You wanna go right for the big one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feeling it?
Yeah.
No.
Part of doing things is being confident about doing them. And positive.
Well, I'm confident we can get it done. I'm not confident I can get it done.
Okay, step 1 would be what?
Multiply.
Get rid of those parentheses. So 9x minus 9, and then positive 2 times x, positive 2 times 8, less than or equal to negative 15.
Oh, that's not myself up.
Right? What's my next step?
Combine x's.
Combine your like terms. I love the language there. Correct mathematical words. So the 9x and the 2x, 9 plus 2, 11. And when I'm combining these next numbers that I have underlined, again, I'm just gonna beg you that if you're not confident and you're adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing, positive, negative number, use a calculator. So negative 9 plus 16,
7.
positive 7,
How was it off?
less than or equal to negative 15.
Minus,
And then I'm gonna minus 7.
which would be what?
So negative 15 minus 7,
Negative 14.
or negative 15 plus negative 7. You can insert that into a calculator or say it both ways,
Divide by 11.
and then divide by 11. and x is less than or equal to negative 2.